Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Milton here to do another movie review. This time I'm doing Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. This movie was directed by George Lucas. It was released May 16th, 2002, and it's the second installment of the Star Wars prequel series. This movie stars Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ian McDiarmid, Sam Jackson, Christopher Lee, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, and Frank Oz. This movie takes place 10 years after Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Anakin Skywalker is now a Padawan. He's 19 years old. Obi-Wan Kenobi's in his mid to late 30s, and he's now a Jedi Knight. And it was cool to see that their relationship was flushed out. And I'll talk about my negatives and positives in a minute. It was cool to see that the Galactic Empire or the Galactic Republic is in turmoil a little bit. There's issues. It's not peaceful, which is cool to see that. And I enjoyed it about the movie. But let's talk about what I liked and didn't dislike. So, Ewan McGregor, I think that he was universally beloved as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, I agree with that because he fleshed out Obi-Wan Kenobi's character more. I really enjoyed it. He did a great job at staying on the path of who Obi-Wan really is as a character. He was true to being Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor is a great actor. He, by far, is the best thing, one of the best things about the prequels. I really enjoyed his character. Another person I enjoyed that I really liked was Hayden Christensen. He gets a lot of hate for these movies, which I don't understand. But I liked him as Anakin Skywalker. He did a good job, especially when he was an angry Anakin Skywalker. And people were like, oh, he's too mopey, he's too emo and whiny. I'm sorry, people. Have you guys seen Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope? Luke Skywalker was whiny as shit in that movie, too. And I'm sorry, he was more annoying than Anakin was, okay? He's like, I want to go to Tasha Stacey for power converters. Like, that's whiny. But no one says nothing about that. I don't understand that. But Anakin, yeah, he complained about his master holding him back and, not listening, being overcritical. He's 19. We all acted that way at 19. What do you expect from a 19-year-old kid who feels like he needs to, move on? He's gonna complain. That's human nature. So when people can, especially those fans out there who are like, F the fucking prequels, the prequels suck, blah, 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 which is fine, that's your opinion, you can have it. But to say that Anakin was annoying, that's who the greatest villain would be. He would start out as an annoying kid who gets pissed off because he's not getting what he wants. Yes, the greatest villains would act that way. Okay? So for people to say that, oh, Anakin's annoying as shit, I'm like, oh, whatever, you're annoying. That's your opinion, that's fine. I'm not saying that you can't have it. But understand what the character is. He's a young kid. We forget that he's still a young teenager. You know what I'm saying? He's about to become an adult. So yeah, I understood that. I enjoyed it about Anakin because that was real. That fleshed him out. Now, let's talk about, a negative about Anakin real quick. The dialogue that he was given. And this isn't Hayden's fault. George wrote the dialogue. And Hayden Christensen's a great actor. People forget he did Life is a House and he did Shattered Glass. He got a lot of critical acclaim for those movies. But the dialogue in this film that he was given wasn't great, so that kind of made him look bad. And I understand that. But we can't blame that on him. George has to take responsibility for that. But Anakin did a great job at, fleshing out the character, in my opinion. I thought he did a great job with the action sequences. And he made me believe that he's going to be Darth Vader, especially the scene when his mother dies. You got to see how angry he was and how angry he can be when his mother died. And he just killed that whole family, or he killed that whole village of sand people, man. I was like, good lord, like it was crazy, man. Like I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite scenes in Attack of the Clones. So I thought Hayden did a great job. Another positive, I love Christopher Lee, the great Christopher Lee, rest in peace. He played Count Dooku. You can't really say nothing wrong about him doing those scenes. He brought credibility, I think, to this movie. You got to have that old guy who's been around the block. And you clearly see that Christopher Lee's been around the block. You see that Dooku is a character that's been around the block. I enjoyed Yoda. I thought Yoda's a badass, especially when he fought in that lightsaber duel against Count Dooku. Tits. And I liked the turmoil in the Republic. I love that storyline. I love that there's been a secret army created for the Republic that the Jedi didn't know about, which is crazy. I love Chancellor Palpatine just manipulating again. I love his character. Ian McDiarmid again brings it, so I enjoyed it. I love the action in this movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I actually don't mind this movie at all, but let's get to my negatives. My negatives would have to be the Jedi Council. The Jedi Council in this movie, they're very dogmatic. And you can clearly see that. They're stuck in their ways. Like, for example, at the beginning of the movie, Natalie Portman says, Padme says, well, I think Count Dooku's behind this assassination attempt. And you have Sam Jackson saying, that can't be true. It's not in his character. Count Dooku won't murder anyone. It's not in his character. Really, Sam Jackson / Mace Windu? Really? You know, anyone has the potential to hurt anyone. Like, come on, dude. Like, see, that's how dogmatic the Jedi are. They're stuck in their ways. And it turns out Count Dooku was the one that hired the assassin to kill Padme. It's like, come on, man. Like, I was like, are you for real? Like, that, it made me laugh when I first, you want to watch it today, it makes me laugh. Because the Jedi are stuck in their old ways. Another thing I liked about the Jedi Council was when they found out about the clone army. And you see Obi-Wan talking to Yoda and Mace Windu. And once he tells him, he says, hey, you know about this army? And they're like, no. And the way they reacted was like simple. And people may say, well, no, they're not showing their fear and their anxiety in front of Obi-Wan. That's a good thing. I'm like, I agree. But then they should have reacted afterwards when they were done talking to him. Because they were just like, well, we don't have the ability to see the future anymore. Our future's dark or clouded by the dark side. I'm like, and it was like it's okay. It was like it was okay for them to be clouded. I'm like, dude, are you effing kidding me? The Jedi are so dumb in this movie. And again, it's not a hating on the Jedi in general. It shows how dogmatic they are. So that's a negative I didn't like. I didn't like the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan or between Anakin and Count Dooku. I thought it was silly. I thought it didn't have nothing at stake. I thought it was just them just being silly and acting fools. I didn't like it. It was very boring. I was actually disappointed with the lightsaber duel. I enjoyed the Yoda and Count Dooku one, and I enjoyed Obi-Wan versus Dooku. But the Anakin lightsaber duel was just straight trash, in my opinion. Another thing I didn't like about the film has to be Jango Fett, and this is why. Not because I didn't like him. I actually liked Jango Fett. I didn't like how they used him. I felt they could have used him more in this film, and I know they killed him off. You know, which I think it served its purpose. But I felt that he wasn't fleshed out enough as a character, in my opinion. You know, I want to see more of his Mandalorian backstory. You know, and Mandalore is a huge thing in the Star Wars universe. It'd be nice just to include that. And I know George Lucas and Dave Filoni, they include that in the Clone Wars cartoon, which was cool to see. But I want to see more Jango Fett. I enjoyed him, and we got to see a little glimpse of Boba Fett. It'd be nice to see more of Boba Fett throughout the whole series of Star Wars trilogy, especially the prequel. You know who he is as the original character, as the original trilogy person, but as a prequel character, I'd like to see him more grown up and see him more like in Revenge of the Sith or something. But then they do make up for that and put him in the Clone Wars. So, another thing I would like to hear, I'd like to get more backstory about the Clone Army. And we get that in Rebels, but man, the movies, it'd be nice to see it in the movies. So yeah, those are pretty much my negatives about the film. Overall, I would grade this movie as being on point. I can't give it a go see this mofo. It has a lot of flaws. A lot of mistakes. I mentioned a dialogue issue. I mentioned just some other stuff. It's got some issues, but it's not a terrible film. I actually enjoyed it. This is probably, if I had to rank the prequels, it'd probably be Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and then Phantom Menace as my top 3 for those. Because like I said, I think this movie does a good job of fleshing out more of the characters. You know, it's not a perfect film. I thoroughly enjoy it. So there you have it, folks. My review of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Have you seen it? Are you going to see it? Let me know. Did you like my review? Didn't you like my review? Tell me what you think. You know, let's have a conversation. Like I always say, comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.
What up? Hey, shawty, what it is? What up? Hey, shawty, what it is? What up? Hey, shawty, what it is? Little buddy, what you on? Some violent shit. Two-stepping laid back still.